Hey everyone, today I would like to have a look with you on a term that you all might have heard about, but you all failed to spell it correctly in the first try. You want to know which one? Let's have a look. So the term I meant is specificity. You have heard about that, but you don't know what it is? Then let's have a look together. So what is specificity about? What is it? It's basically the way that the browser decides which CSS rules, which CSS properties like color, background, and so on are most relevant for your elements, for your single element. So let's have a look at this very simple example I have here. So I have an ordered list with list items inside, and you see that the ordered list has an ID, a class, and also the list items have classes. Let's look at the list items. How can I access those in my CSS selectors? Well, there are different ways. So one simple way would be that I specify all LIs inside an order list, and I could say something like color blue. Same would of course also work if I just do DLI. And then basically another way is I can use directly the class name, so I could say list item and could say color red. And you see in both ways it's changing the values. Now looking at in CS code at the hoover of the selector, you see that it says something here about specificity. And well, specificity is some weight with 3 different areas, sections. And you see here the LI selector has basically a value 1 in the last section, so to say. And list item has value 1 in the middle section. So what is this all about? So let's hover for a second over the single selectors here. So let's hover over the LI, and you see that VS Code is giving me here the specificity for this LI selector. And you need to know specificity is some kind of 3-value weight of a selector. And you see here that this selector has a value 1 on the last section, so to say. And list item, so the list item class selector has a value 1 on the middle area section. So what does this all mean? So let's look at this specificity calculator online tool where I put in the 2 selectors we had. And it's a nice way of visualizing these weights and these different sections. And you might get an idea of what these different sections mean. So you remember in VS Code we saw that the LI had a value 1 on the last section, so to say. And the last section is basically about elements and pseudo-elements selectors. So LI is an element, so that basically gives a value 1 or adds a value 1 to this section. And the list item class selector is basically has a value 1 in the middle section, which is about classes, attributes, and pseudo classes. So this adds a value 1 to this middle section. So now you basically see how the specificity is built up based on the selector. But how does the browser know which specificity wins? Which specificity weight is bigger than the other one? Well, this is quite easy. So the least amount of weight adds this last section here, the green one with the elements and pseudo elements. Then comes the classes, attributes, and pseudo classes, and then on top the IDs. So that means basically that looking at these 2 selectors we have, well, this one will win because the weight, the specificity of this one is higher than of this one because it has a value 1 on this blue section and this only has a value 1 on the green section. It would look different if I would change my selector here to something like, I don't know, I select an LI with a class list item. Then it would look different because then I have value 1 on the classes, the same as here. So until now it would be the same kind of value. But on top of that, I have a value 1 on elements, which I don't have here. So this one has a higher specificity than the selector. So let's recap what we learned until now. So the list item class selector has a higher specificity than the element selector. So it's not a surprise that the list items are colored red. It's because of this selector here. It's not because of the ordering of these two. So it would be the same if I would put this in first place. As you can see now, it is about the specificity. So this one has a higher specificity than this one, so it always wins, regardless of the order. So when does the order comes into account? Well, I added here a class called special, and let's say I would make another selector with a class special, and I would say color, I don't know, yellow, and you would see it would be yellow colored. But if I change position, it is colored. Oops, let's see, it is colored in red. So the ordering only comes into account when you have two selectors with the same specificity. So the browser does not know, based on the specificity, what he has to apply. Then basically the next thing that comes into account is the ordering. So here you basically see special and list item have the same specificity. So the browser has no preference until now which value to take. He does not know what he has to take. So he's basically looking at the ordering. Well, that's it for today. I hope you learned a bit about this mysterious term specificity, and it's no longer mysterious to you, and you know what it is about. So if you have questions, leave them in the comments below. I will put some links in the description about this topic, and we see each other next time. Bye.